Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Baseball HQ. I'm your host, Dakota Moyer, back with Mr. Casey Fenton. Back with us after a short hiatus. Um, if you wanted
Was
to see,
pretty long hiatus.
you can find him on YouTube as you can with the entire podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Be sure to leave us a like, a comment, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. It really helps. Email us, baseballhqpodcast at gmail.com. We'd love to see what you think. Any topics that you'd like to talk about, we would love to get those in here. Before we get started, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Glad I could find some time to fit this back in. I'm sorry it took me so long to get on another episode.
No, that's completely fine. This is a long needed episode going through some more free agent news. Definitely needed to do this. Some of this news is from about a month ago. I just haven't gotten around to it. But before we get into it, is there anything you'd like to bring up or
Nah, I'm excited to jump in.
all right then. First up, Michael King was a starting pitcher for the San Diego Padres for the past couple years. Came over in the one, actually, I think it was just this year. Came for the past 2 years, came over in the Juan Soto trade between the Padres and the Yankees. So, definitely the Yankees got a good end of that deal. But I think the Padres also got a good end of that deal with Michael King, who proved to be a reliable starter. And he is now back with the Padres on a 3-year, $75 million deal with some conditions that he can opt out after 2026 and 2027. But really, getting Michael King back really anchors in that Padres rotation, especially after losing Dylan Cease to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they have to decide if it's going to be worth it to just get an anchor in their starting rotation. You got to make sure you have someone you can rely on. So offering him several years, with the opt out, but several years in a row, they're just looking to make sure that they have an anchor in their starter rotation.
Yeah, definitely. And especially after losing out on Dylan Cease, there's not a lot of anchors in that Padres rotation. So Michael King back, more than likely, if I had to guess, would probably be their number 2 starter after Nick Pivetta. The Astros, the Rays, and the Pirates made a trade, a 3-way deal. And this was actually a pretty good deal for the Pirates and the Rays, not so much for the Astros, as they just kind of got a mid-tier, at the very least, a number 5 starter. But the Pirates received second baseman Brandon Lau, left-handed pitcher Mason Montgomery, and outfielder Jake Mangum. The Rays received prospects Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito from the Astros, and the Astros received Mike Burrows from the Pirates. Just kind of needed to be thrown in there to get the Pirates into this deal. But definitely a very good deal for the Pirates. They got the best of that, getting a 30 home run second baseman, an outfield depth, and a solid starting pitcher or relief pitcher. The Rays received some pretty good prospects. Melton and Brito, some of the top prospects in the Astros system. And then the Astros, yeah, that's what they got. Mike Burrows just kind of thrown in there. Astros don't really need him that much, but overall, a decent trade for 2 of the 3 teams.
There's so many ways you can speculate on something like Mike Burrows for the Astros. Maybe they think they can help develop him, or maybe they think he wasn't getting the support from behind him on the other teams. Maybe they just wanted something out of this deal and they took what they can get. There's enough to speculate on there. Not terrible, but obviously not like the first thing that they would go after. But at least they got something.
Yeah, definitely. And with the addition of Brandon Lau, this Pirates team is starting to look better behind rookie ace phenom Paul Skeens. They're just trying to build up the field behind him, and also just the amount of times that they can actually score some runs behind Paul Skeens and not leave him with an ERA under 2, but a 10-10 record. But just trying to get this guy some support, and that's exactly what the Pirates have been doing. And the Rays get a couple of prospects out of that. So good deal for them as well. Sun Moon Song. Never heard of this dude until about 2 weeks ago. Came out of the KBO, and he has signed a 3-year, $13 million deal with the Padres as well. Probably slots in there as second base, maybe gets a little bit of third base in there behind Manny Machado. But overall, pretty good numbers in the KBO. He's not the most insane dude to ever come out of Korea or Japan, but a solid guy that you can rely on to be there when you need him.
Yeah, getting someone out of the Korean league. I mean, it's neat that you don't just have to pull someone up through your farm system, but you can get someone out of an entirely different league. So I'll be interested to follow his career, see how he does. Sticks around with the Padres for 3 years, how he fits in with the team. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. And again, another example of teams out in the West pulling out um, pulling out players out of the Asian market. But at least it wasn't the Dodgers this time. There were a lot of trades made recently. The Phillies and Royals made a trade. Royals definitely got the better end of this one. The Royals received Matt Strahm, left-handed pitcher. Finished 2025 with the Phillies, a 2-3 record, 2.74 ERA, 70 strikeouts over 62 and a third innings pitched. The Phillies get Jonathan Bolin, 1-2 record, 3.86 ERA, 46 strikeouts, 44 and a third innings pitched. Royals got the better end of this deal. Royals definitely trying to build up their team behind Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, is trying to get back to playoff contention, and this is one of the ways they've been doing it.
Yeah, the Royals have looked pretty good in recent years, so it's no wonder that they're looking for another strong left-handed pitcher. Interested to see what the Phillies can do with Jonathan Bolin, a right-handed pitcher, trying to slot him into their rotation there. But we'll see how far the Royals can take this and see how Matt Strom fits in with their.
Definitely. The this next trade I was very confused on. The Orioles and Rays in division trade. The Orioles received right-handed pitcher Shane Baz, and the Rays received a boatload of prospects: outfielder Slater DeBrun, catcher Caden Bodine, right-handed pitcher Michael Forret, outfielder Austin Overn, along with a competitive balanced round pick in the 2026 draft. This was a very confusing draft, or a very confusing trade. Yes, the Royals need pitching depth. They need someone to help out their rotation. But Shane Baz is the guy that you can get, but I don't think you needed to give up 4 or 5 prospects plus a competitive balance pick for a guy who's a mid-tier starting pitcher at best. But that's my take on that, and I don't know what the Orioles were thinking, but apparently they have something in mind.
It's hard to speculate on what the Orioles had in mind, giving up so many prospects all at once, but maybe they see Shane Baz is worth it. 10 and 12, I mean, that's a lot of games. Someone who can go out there, pitch you a lot of innings. I don't know if you've watched any foolish baseball videos talking about innings pitched, but someone who can get out there in your rotation and just chew through the innings. Not a crazy ERA, but that's not always his fault. Not a crazy win-loss line, but that's not always his fault. He can't also score the runs for the team. Averaging over a strikeout per inning, but 166 innings pitched. That's a lot of innings. And the more innings you can get out of your starters and your starting pitcher rotation, the fewer innings your bullpen have to come and clean up. Maybe they're just looking for an innings pitch pitcher, and maybe Shane Baz was the guy to fill that slot.
Yeah, and we definitely see that view from the Orioles. A little confused on the return, but the Orioles and the Rays both see something and they both agreed on it. Kind of rapid fire of deals. Tyler Austin signed with the Cubs, a catcher slash first baseman. Sean Armstrong release signed with the Guardians. Adolis Garcia, that's the big one, signed with the Phillies. Josh Bell with the Twins. Jordan Romano, after a failed and very bad 2025 season with the Phillies, signed with the Angels. So a lot of minor signings. Foster Griffin came over from Asia, signed a 1-year deal with the Nationals. He's looking to bounce back in the MLB. But just a lot of minor deals that not a lot of people would take notice of. But all of these deals are really important for the teams that sign them, and it'll be interesting to see what these guys do for their teams.
Yeah, going into this next season, it'll be fun to watch how these free agents getting picked up, getting added to the 40-man roster. It'd be nice to see how teams go about, ordering their lineups and bringing people in versus certain teams. Maybe Foster Griffin was picked up by the Nationals for anytime they play against the specific team. Maybe they're gonna slot him into their lineup for that reason. It'll be fun to see this next coming season with all these players picked up on these teams.
Yeah, and there have been a bunch of minor league deals thrown out over the past couple of weeks. These were all major league deals, but kind of minor ones that you don't really think about. But it'll be interesting, especially to see how Adolis Garcia, who spent his entire career with the Texas Rangers, adjust to that Philadelphia field and the team. I think Texas and Philadelphia are in quite the different atmospheres, so that'll be interesting, especially.
Agreed.
Another big trade, and I don't know what it is. I think the Red Sox and Cardinals must really like each other. The Red Sox received Wilson Contreras and as well as $8 million, and the Cardinals received another group of young pitchers, Hunter Dobbins, Yoker Fajardo, and Blake Ida. The Red Sox reaching into their well of deep prospects in that very loaded farm system that they have. They now have a power hitting first baseman, something that they've needed ever since they got rid of Devers last year, and they just kind of cycled through some people just trying to make do in that position. But now they've got their power hitting first baseman, and this was a really good trade by these two teams.
Yeah, I agree. Seeing Contreras move over to the Red Sox would be nice to see how he adds to their offense. And maybe the Cardinals had their eyes on these prospects and we're just waiting to get their hands on these Red Sox prospects. And now that they have, we'll see how they develop them further and try to slot them into their team.
I think anytime the Cardinals are trying to do a trade with the Red Sox, they're always going after pitching. They've made two trades with the Red Sox and they've got five pitchers from these deals. Cardinals definitely trying to boost their prospect. What am I trying to say? Their minor league depth. There we go.
Hmm.
Trying to improve their minor league depth and just their pitching depth, and all of these prospects looking pretty good. Rob Refsnyder, speaking of Red Sox, spent a while with them. Just a utility guy there when you need him. Signed a 1-year deal with the Seattle Mariners. So Mariners fans, not the biggest name you could have gone out there and gotten. Don't be too upset though. The Mariners are still in this offseason and they're waiting, but Russ Snyder's a very good guy to have on your team when you need him to fill in the outfield or you just need a DH or just an overall utility guy.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
The Athletics and Mets made a trade. I told you there were a lot of trades in this one. The Athletics received second baseman slash outfielder Jeff McNeil, and the Mets received right-handed pitching prospect Jordan Rodriguez. This deal by the Mets is really just the Mets trying to shed some salary, trying to get some more guys in here after a very disappointing exit from the 2025 playoffs this year, trying to get back there with Soto, Lindor. They don't have Alonso anymore, but really just trying to shed some salary and make room for Marcus Semien, who they acquired from the Rangers earlier this year. And the Mets receive a really good 18-year-old pitching prospect, and the Athletics get a guy that can slide right into their lineup and who honestly will fit in really well.
The Athletics are always a fun team to watch. Just the way they go about their entire front office business and how little they spend on their players. And now they have so much discontent between the fans and the ownership, and then the move to Vegas. I mean, the A's have a lot of stuff going on. So anyone who gets sent over to the A's, it's always fun to watch them see what they can do in a circumstance like that. Basically, the opposite of a Yankees or Dodgers circumstance where the team will spend any amount of money to just get whoever they think is the best at the time. Hey, let's do the best we can with what we got. At least we're not the White Sox, you know.
Or the Rockies.
Oh, so true.
Yeah. But the Athletics are a very fun team to watch. Playing in a minor league ballpark for them, probably another year. Might be interesting to see what goes on there. It'll be fun. The Athletics are definitely making moves and making waves in the Major League Baseball. Ryan O'Hearn, one of the top free agent first basemen on the market, signed a 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So you can't say that the Pirates aren't trying. So now they've got a power hitting first baseman and DH behind Paul Skeens, along with their power hitting second baseman, Brandon Lau. Um, but what's interesting about this deal is this is the first multi-year deal that the Pittsburgh Pirates have offered since they offered a deal to pitcher Ivan Nova in 2016. It has been almost 10 years since the Pirates signed anyone to a multi-year deal. And I mean, whatever floats your boat, Pirates general manager. But it's just kind of interesting that it's been 10 years since any kind of long-term deal has been handed out. But it's Ryan O'Hearn is a good guy to hand it out to.
Yeah, it's along with the trades, they're really focusing on their offensive lineup behind Paul Skeens. I like that it's not as depressing where we have all this hype around Paul Skeens and then as soon as he gets in the MLB it's just an embarrassment and a disappointment. I hate when that happens. I love to see these young guys, they're hyped up, they're performing well, they get in the MLB and boom, they just keep performing well. Like, yes, this guy is talented. He knows exactly what he's doing up there. People haven't seen this before. It's crazy. He actually came through with all of that stuff and then he doesn't have a winning record. Like how are you not winning with this guy? They can't hit him. They can't hit his pitches. How are you not hitting the other team? Like they don't have Paul Skeens. You do. Like can we score some runs behind this guy? Can we win some games? So the Pirates obviously not happy with Paul Skeens throwing unhittable pitches only to never get hits. So let's see if we can build our offense and put up some numbers behind this guy and go on a nice winning season and see what we can do.
Yeah, the Pirates are trying to do something with Paul Skeens before he eventually gets fed up with the losing team and the losing record and decides that he wants to go somewhere else. So they're trying, and we'll see what Paul Skeens can do with these guys behind him. We talked about this guy last time you were on the podcast. This is the first time we brought him up. Munetaka Murakami, left-handed slugging Japanese player, had a 56 home run season in Japan a couple years ago. Didn't have the greatest of seasons since then, but is still a very solid player. A lot of power in his bat, but also a lot of swing and miss when his bat doesn't hit the ball. He's got a lot of strikeouts piled up over his time in Japan. But when I first brought him up, I never would have expected that he would sign with the Chicago White Sox. When you think Japanese and you think slugger, you immediately think Dodgers, Yankees, Mariners, Mets, any of these big market teams. No one thinks White Sox, Rockies, Nationals, Marlins, anyone like this. But I mean, Munetaka Murakami finally found his bread and butter, what he wanted to do. He signed with the South Side. And I mean, it's very puzzling, but I've seen people say, well, now he has a market where he can perform in, that he doesn't have to like really do anything. Of course he has to perform, but he doesn't have the pressure that he would be in if he was with
Mhm.
the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Mariners, Mets, someone like that. Which I can see that, but still the move is kind of quite puzzling to me.
Maybe the White Sox were tired of being everyone's laughing stock and they're willing to put out enough money to try to remedy that.
I mean, the White Sox losing records for the past several years. In 2024, had the worst record in baseball, set the MLB record for most losses in a season, and then in 2025 didn't do much better. Still finished with over 100 losses. Um, but can't say they're not trying, I guess. And then White Sox also signed Sean Newcomb. Lefty had a really good year with the Athletics. So small market to small market going and really stabilizing that Chicago White Sox bullpen, which definitely needs a lot of stabilizing.
Yeah, there's something the White Sox well, the White Sox need, it's stability.
Definitely. So that kind of wraps up uh, the things that we've been needing to get through over the past couple weeks. I'm glad we were finally able to get to it. Is there anything you want to bring up or talk about before we end it?
No, just a lot of interesting trades going on behind the scenes. A lot of the front office stuff, not flashy or showy, but the teams all have they all have their reasons and they all have their hopes. And so as we go into this preseason this next year, it'll be interesting to see who they start to give these opportunities to prove themselves. Be nice to watch these prospects get developed by another team. It'll be another fun season. Looking forward to some more baseball.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I none of the a lot of the big names haven't fallen yet, but that's okay. There have certainly been a lot of names that have fallen, and this is, I think, our fourth or fifth episode in a row talking about free agents. So we might need to take a break from that for a little bit next time. Anyway, remember, fans, check us out: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Leave a like, a comment, 5-star review, subscribe. Email us, baseballhqpodcast@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Um, Thank you for coming on. Glad we were finally able to find some time to get on. But anyway, everyone, thank you for watching Baseball HQ. It's a beautiful day for a ball game.